So, I kind of wanted to come in here. Well, it's Akame here. I kind of wanted to talk about my thoughts on Mafia, the old country. Um, it was a cool little game and all, but I thought the ending was kind of ass. And I'll give my like thoughts. When I first played the game, I most um I didn't really know what to think of Enzo. I liked Enzo. It was giving Italian Tom Holland, and as you can see, that's one of my favorite outfits in the game. I don't know if this is like the full outfit, but I liked him wearing a bandana. I've always liked the characters to wear that bandana around that mouth. I always thought that shit was kind of hard. Um, you know how Enzo got into the mafia was pretty cool, but I didn't like the way that people were talking about him. But Cesare was one of them. He would call that nigga Caruso and shit like that. It's like stop calling that nigga the bully from Everybody Hates Chris name. You know what I'm saying? I forgot what Caruso means and shit like that. You know, so that's very interesting. Like, and then he starts fucking with the daughter, Enzo. That is, he starts really getting together with the daughter, you know what I'm saying? Isabella, Isabella's a bad bitch, you know what I'm saying? I want to beat that pussy up too. Um, but it was just like, you know, the niggas getting so caught up in everything. It's just like niggas don't know what to do. And as he's rising up the ranks, this nigga Cesare is getting mad at that nigga. Like, he's not getting mad, but we can see visually that this nigga's, kind of salty and shit like that, which is understandable. But at the same time, nigga, if you want your own clique or your own group, nigga, why not just take the niggas that fucks with you and just leave? Why do you feel like you're about to get that spot off of Don Teresi? Right, because this nigga Don Teresi is the Don of this game. He's not Salier from Mafia 1, and he's not whatever that nigga's name was. Carmelo Falcone or some shit like that from Mafia 2. It's been some time. And then I forgot the nigga from Mafia 3. Saul Marcano, that's what his name is. But anyway, as Enzo is rising up the ranks and shit like that, couple of niggas start dying and couple niggas start dying and shit like that. One key nigga that dies is Luca. Luca's one of the realest nigga in the game. If niggas don't know, Luca is the father of Sam Trapani from Mafia 1, like the main antagonist. That nigga doesn't give main antagonists, but he was the main antagonist of that game. I don't know why. But anywho, as it goes, as he's progressing through the story, he's trying to prove to himself, prove to Isabella, and prove to the Don and the rest of these niggas that he's like that. Enzo is indeed like that. He has a lot of plot armor too. And there was a lot of questions. Like, there was a lot of people that died that should have died like earlier, like the niggas he was trying to clip. I was getting mad. There was like a one part to where he was supposed to kill this one dude. I was like, are you not going to shoot him, or are you just going to let your gun get jammed on some plot hole bullshit? I don't know. I just found it to be very interesting. And I find just a lot of shit that was very like retarded. Like, the way Enzo died, but I'm gonna get to that. Like, through the story, like, we, just, we just find out how just cold of a nigga that Enzo is. Like, he was real cool. Like, I think the opera mission, it was giving Assassin's Creed, because the beginning of Assassin's Creed, you play as Hatham, Edward's son, and Connor's father, or Renhogedan, or whatever how you pronounce it. He's Indian. But anyway, though, this sweet ass little opera mission, it was pretty cool. I thought it was beautiful, and the way that you killed a nigga and get him out the way is pretty cool too. It was beautiful. And another one of my missions is features this mask that Enzo is wearing. It's real cool. I've always loved the gangsta aesthetic. You know what I'm saying? That thug life ass nigga. You know what I'm saying? I've always thought he was cool. I don't know. It's just one thing I didn't like how is how people would try to talk to Enzo crazy, like uh Don Teresi's second in command and his personal advisor, Tino. He was just a scumbag piece of shit too, I couldn't wait for that nigga to die. Like, you know what I'm saying? Um, I love the racing scenes and I love the races in this game for the story mode. It kind of felt fixed and it kind of felt like hella plot armor esque. You could lose the race, but you know, some parts are just built up to you to win. I just wish there were more race. I just wish it was like more stakes. And I hate like the stealth sections. Like I love stealth, but I hate like whenever you get caught in the stealth sections and shit like that. It's just some weak ass game over section. Like some type of villain, some type of, you know, when the villain gets locked up type shit. And it was just real corny as fuck though. Like, and then I one thing I did not like is how some of the enemies were bullet sponge. Why am I shooting a nigga in his head and he no sells it on some Hulk Hogan shit and some Ultimate Warrior shit and get back up? Like, you know what I'm saying? I hit a nigga with one of these, like a, you know what I'm saying? He's getting back up. You know what I'm saying? I just didn't like that at all. I just thought that was like real corny to me. And like the I don't think I remember any of the main villains and shit like that other than like the Teresi nigga, the Don being a villain at the end, and then Cesare slamming you out. One thing I didn't like is, you know what I'm saying, like when Cesare first meets Enzo and shit like that, Enzo ups pole on that nigga or ups a knife, and it just goes to show like I knew how it was going to end off rip. Because prior to me winning the game off of eBay, because that's how I won it, I think I was the sole survivor of the auction. Shout out me. But anyway, though, Cesare, you know, he was just a slimy little cocksucker from the beginning, and the nigga just brags and boasts about power, like, oh yeah, my uncle Don Teresi is gonna let me, you know, get the reign after I pass away or if I decide to step down. Nigga, he would have most likely gave that shit to Enzo, his daughter, which is unlikely, or Enzo. That nigga doesn't fuck with you like he's, you know what I'm saying? They don't fuck with you like they say they do, you know. Or it's like Draymond Green said to Paul Pierce, nigga, they don't love you like how they love Kobe. They don't love you like that, nigga. But it was just parts to where I felt like Enzo should have got up and left this shit because nigga, you on suicide missions and shit like that, and you know it's just so much. And then let me tell you about Luca. Luca is one of the coolest characters of all time. In this nigga's dying breath, he tells Enzo, nigga, you gotta get up out of here. And the nigga part of the mafia, this his whole life, he gave his life to the mafia. His two kids is gonna grow up without a fucking father. His wife is probably gonna get dug out by another nigga. You know what I'm saying? But she hasn't been with another nigga, so you know, till death do us part type shit. You know, her son is the main antagonist of their his kid is named Sam Trappini, is the main antagonist of Mafia 1. You know, Tommy Angelo, and shit like that. But anyways, you know, this nigga in his dying breath tells Enzo, you gotta get the fuck up out of here. A nigga like me would have got up out of there. But you know, he was obviously bullshitting and wasting time and doing side quests. So anyway, as the story progresses, you know, I was about to call that hoe Elizabeth. Isabella let us know that she's pregnant and shit like that with this nigga's child. I'm like, we've only seen y'all niggas kiss one time. Who knows whatever time skip happened. You know what I'm saying? She says she's pregnant and she says, you know, I'm not gonna let you end up like Luca and shit like that. I'm not about to let you go out and get yourself blicked the fuck down. And I was like, that is so valid. But it's also, you know, she shows signs of her father of like if Enzo wasn't fuck. Another thing about Enzo is that sometimes he wasn't unsure of himself, and sometimes he just frankly was not fucking with the shits. Like he wanted to impress the father, but I'm like, nigga, you're taking 12 years to impress the father, and it's just like you taking your sweet ass time to impress the father, and I'm like, You doing all this death, nigga? Listen, if I'm going to slide for Luca, if I'm going to do all this type of shit, nigga, I should be in good with the what's the name. I'm not about to just fuck his daughter all rip though. That's kind of crazy, and I felt like that's kind of disrespectful in a way. But then again, Enzo does owe him shit away, and that nigga doesn't owe you what's the name. So as it goes on, he's going on these little death missions and shit like that, trying to prove himself, and it's like I'm like, twin, you should have did what Lucas said and got your punk ass up out of there. I would have hit the mic drop and left this bitch. It's a 2K thing. It's like one of my 2K sayings that I like to say. But like I said, Luca, this nigga's in his dying breath telling you, nigga, you gotta go. There's so many niggas telling this nigga to get out of here. This life ain't for you. You a good boy. You got your life ahead of you. And Isabella is telling them like we can escape, and that's cool. They do end up escaping, but it was just so much shit that just made me question a lot of shit. Like I felt like the knife fights. The knife fights were cool, but they felt so anti. They felt so I'm not gonna lie to you. The knife fights were cool, but they were exceedingly ass. Like I wish it was like more like combat. Like I love the combat, but I wish the combat was even more fire. I still stand by it that Mafia, and whether niggas didn't like it or not, Mafia had the best combat out of all the Mafia games, and it's not even fucking close. Because Mafia had the most brutal, combat. It was good. It was peak. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed every Mafia game. I know that shit sounds biased, but I enjoyed it. And but either way, how many minutes we're in? We're 13 minutes in. I got time. So as the story progresses on, Enzo still has to prove his worth. Like they'll have like little tests like, hey, is he gonna kill this guy or what? Or does he have the balls? It's like on some like Sam Fisher double agent type shit. Like, do we kill Lambert or do we kill fucking Jamie Washington or whatever the fuck? Um, it is what it is. But as we go on, Isabella is, trying to fight for her own free will because her mother, not her mother, her mother's passed away. Her father wants to, marry her off to this rich cocksucking nigga. And I'm like, don't you care about your daughter, nigga? If you love your daughter, why are you trying to use her for a business game? Because you know what I'm saying. This is your daughter. She can't have her own choice. You know what I'm saying? And that's how a lot of mafia stories go. Or just a lot of what's names. Like their father is just overprotective. Um, I just like how beautiful the game was, and I really love the protagonist. I see a lot of myself in Enzo, like the hesitation, the sometimes we both tend to pussy for, we're both in our early 20s. I think Enzo is like 22 by the end of the story, maybe a little bit older or younger. I'm not sure. I know this nigga's in his 20s, but you know what I'm saying? We both talking to a girl, currently, we both are hard workers, you know what I'm saying? We're both want things to be right and we don't want to fuck things up, We're both real niggas, you know what I'm saying? And he's lived a tragic life, and I lived a tragic life too, but I wasn't slaving away. But I do have moments where I feel like I'm slaving away at work, so that's relatable. Um, I like Cesare, but you know what I'm saying. I was just not fucking with him, and he was a snake ass nigga, and I just knew that the ending was gonna be some hot ass dog shit. So we get to the ending, they try to escape on the train and shit like that. Isabella and Enzo, because they want to escape to America type shit, and you know they they're cut off by like Tino and Cesare and shit like that, and they take Enzo back to the Don to get interrogated, and they take Isabella to get abort to get the baby aborted, which is so fucking crazy. The fact that you was willing to go that far for your own, that far to just fuck over your own daughter is crazy. So as we get back to it, we have a fight. We have a knife fight with the Don. Enzo kills this nigga, gets him the fuck out of here. I actually enjoyed that shit. I actually enjoyed sending that cocksucker to hell. You know what I'm saying? Loved hearing him scream. Pause. But we fight Cesare too. You know, but after we kill Don Cerezi, him and Cesare go for a fucking hug. I was just like, why are you hugging this nigga? Y'all niggas was just boxing like an hour ago. Like, I don't get it though. Like, and then he stabs that nigga in the heart, and then that nigga just bleeds out and just dies. It was like, it was just the most anticlimactic what the fuck ever. It was kind of retarded though. It made me feel some type of way though. It was just, it's one of those things to where it's like, damn, you know what I'm saying? He's not the first Mafia protagonist to die. Tommy dies because, he was in the witness protection and he snitched on Don Salieri and he got his ass popped. Vito can die if you choose to kill him in Mafia 3. I killed him. I don't know. He was just a cocky little son of a bitch. I just wanted to see what happened if I put him in the ground. And Lincoln could die too. Like, there's like I guess, I won't say it's an evil ending. They say like, Father James puts a car bomb on that bitch in a car, one of his cars, and it explodes it or whatever. It is what it is. But anywho, let me get back to the what's the name. We switched to Isabella, the girlfriend, the single mother. Now we're playing as her. We trying to escape her house because they trying to abort her fucking baby and shit like that and marry her off to this fucking rich snob cocksucker, and she doesn't want that, nor does Enzo. Niggas is just looking for money type shit. They just thinking what they, they're not thinking straight. They're not thinking logically. But we get a little stealth section of her just stabbing niggas and shit like that, and then she fights Tino, which is the final boss of the game, which was kind of ass though. And I was struggling with this shit. I thought I was gonna have to call my nephew like on some like how I had to do with the GTA 4, because if people don't know, there's been a bug in the game for years to where you cannot finish you cannot finish like the 360 version or the PC version to where you can tap A or tap whatever and you would instantly fall off the helicopter and stuff like that, and you had to tap it. And anyway, the boss fight requires you to like stab Tino at least 3 times, and you just have to it took me many tries to get it. It was just like a little stealth sequence. It was giving Shadow of the Tomb Raider final mission head ass. It was fun though, but it was boring as fuck. I wish we had more sections with her. I wish we had more gameplay as her. I wouldn't mind a female Mafia game. There's going to be some people to talk about, oh, it's so woke and so crazy to play as a female. It just wouldn't work. It would be fun. I think it would be fun. It wouldn't hurt to experiment on. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they weren't able to use Jimmy and Bully, if they were to make a sequel, I would love to see like a female protagonist, like a feminine Bully or some shit like that. That would be fire. But like I said, Tino is dead because Isabella killed him. He's the final villain of the Mafia series as far as we know. I don't know when we're gonna get the next Mafia game. And then, I don't know where Isabella is heading. They said something about Mafia 2 or some shit like that, heading to somewhere. I don't know. I just didn't like the ending. The ending was ass as fuck. I just felt like it was overcooked. I didn't like a lot of things about Isabella too. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she was taking risks too, like with having a Mafia dad though, and she was just so ready to just leave this place. But at the same time, like, you gotta know that Enzo wasn't ready. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't the nigga you thought he was. Like, he is a tough ass nigga, but you know what I'm saying? He still has his faults too. Like, you have your flaws too, like, he was just holding out for this hope, and it's just like, My personal opinion, after I would have slid for Luca, and here's another thing. Speaking of Luca, that nigga, they had his funeral. They didn't have no faith in this nigga Enzo because they sent him on a death mission and they already had the funeral. They didn't even wait for that nigga, which was so crazy today. That nigga, as he's going on a suicide, on a little homicidal mission, that nigga Don, I guess they're burying him, I guess. And it's just like, my first thought would be like, where's Enzo at? Like, that's basically like his mentor and shit like that. You know, the one that taught him how to be a real nigga. But come whole time they buried the nigga when he was out. You know what I'm saying? Like as soon as he got back from the mission to where you that church or whatever that shit got burnt the fuck down. Don Teresi let us know that, hey, you know, I should let you know that we buried old boy. You should go visit that nigga's grave, say a few prayers type shit. And it was like, you couldn't wait for the nigga? Like, he gave his life up for you. And he was more of a mentor and father figure to me than you'll ever be. You're just some bum ass nigga who used me. Some cocksucking nigga. And it's just I got a lot to say, and I know I may not sound as enthusiastic, but I had a ball playing this fucking game. No, this game is not for the fucking weak. I think it gets harder as the difficulty goes, but you know, I definitely wish that the game was longer. I definitely wish that old boy Enzo didn't die because he went out like a fucking hoe. They hold him so bad. It was just so overcooked, and it was just like it left me like I want to play this shit again, but it's just like you know this nigga's gonna die, so you know what's the point? You know what I mean? And it's just, you know, he tried to prove himself. I'm like, nigga, the day that Luca died, I would have went to go slide for that nigga. Or the day Luca died, like he told that nigga in his dying breath, nigga, you gotta go, bro. Like this nigga don't give a fuck about you like that. In his dying breath, that shit made me want to cry and shit like that. Like there were so many people to get popped in this game. It's crazy. Leo Galante was a returning character that's been in a Mafia game for years. I think that nigga's like 100 years old in like Mafia 3, but that nigga's been around since Gettysburg and shit. Like this nigga, like this nigga had a grandfather, a father, and shit like that. He was another one. He was another nigga that tried to help Enzo get out of Mafia. He said, "Nigga, I know you a ice cold killer, but you're a good nigga, man. You're a good man. You're you know, you're like the most morally good protagonist outside of Tommy. You know what I'm saying? Oh, but then again, oh Kame, why no protagonist is morally good if they're putting niggas or sending niggas to the shadow realm. And my question to you is, you're right, but at the same time, you know what I'm saying? It made me want to be on my Miyu Furinji type shit from Kanichi, the mightiest disciple. She was like, I never met somebody with such a strong sense of what's right and what's wrong type shit. And I thought that was a really cool quote. But it's also like, hey man, he had to do what he had to do. And I think out of all three protagonists or all four protagonists, Lincoln was not in the mob. The nigga was just hunting the mob. I think he was what Enzo was in a mafia for about what 3 fucking years. Let me go to the journal. Like yeah, he was in a store. He was like in a mafia for about 2 or 3 years. Like and his little rise to capo or whatever he was, it was pretty cool though. You know, I enjoyed playing this game though. This shit was fire as fuck. Like I enjoyed the missions, you know, like the driving parts. Like I love driving and I will learn how to drive at some point in life. I just did not care for him all the time and just the dialogue, it was cool. But it was just like my honest opinion, I just wanted to pop niggas and send niggas to the shadow realm. You know, I'm playing a mafia game, nigga. Not talking simulator, not driving simulator. You know what I'm saying? And I wish they would have had like some choices up to the game that affects you. Like Maybe Enzo becomes more of an asshole. Maybe he becomes more of a what's the name like, or maybe when he gets shot, his blood is more. Maybe when he's evil and gets shot and dies, at in the end, his blood is just more red, or his blood, or his blood is just dry red, or some shit like that. I don't know. I'm just giving my thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then they have a mode separate from it, the free roam and the free ride, to where you can't collect certain collectibles or some shit like that, or some bullshit about collectibles. I just think it's really retarded, but it is what it is. I just wish it was just more side activity and shit like that, because I really enjoyed like the game itself and just talking to people in general. It was just a blast, and just the graphics. Look at this shit, bro. Like, look at it. It's like my cousin said. It's like my late cousin Steve said. Beautiful, beautiful. But it's just, this game was so fire though. Will I play it again? Most likely. I don't know how long it's gonna take me. I may play it tonight. I may play it tomorrow. It is what it is. I just wish like the certain, what's the names, the headshot shit. It was just exceedingly ass. Like, yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm hitting him in his head. Why is he like no selling my shit on some Ultimate Warrior shit? Like, I just hit this nigga with a pedigree. But overall, I enjoyed the game. I really had fun. Some of this shit really had me at the edge of my fucking seat. You know what I'm saying? I still didn't like how Enzo went out. I still felt like that nigga went out like a fucking hoe. Like, and it was just like, why would you hug this cocksucking nigga? You knew this nigga. Y'all niggas was just boxing. Y'all niggas was just fighting for the Intercontinental Championship not an hour ago. And he said he was going to kill you and spin on your ass. This nigga said he will do anything to get in that fucking spot. But you know what I'm saying? Cesare was very insecure when it came to certain shit too. Like, no, I did like this filthy Caruso, like Enzo could never be better than me. And it's just like, nigga, I thought you were my friend. You are my friend. No, Naruto, I'm sorry. But it was just a lot, bro. I was talking to Big Brother Onyx a couple days ago. I told him like, hey, I really wanted to make this Mafia review. I just didn't know how to go about this shit. You know what I'm saying? He said, you should go ahead and make it despite how many views. And and I agree with him. I was like, it's not about the views, and I wasn't trying to, come off as a dickhead. He said, you should make it no matter the views. I wasn't trying to come off as, what I'm saying is, I didn't know how to go about it, and I needed a real nigga's help, and bro gave me the realest nigga advice. He said, upload it no matter the what's the name, whether it's an old game. And I told him the game came out like late 2025 and shit like that. He was like, cool, still upload it. And that's what I'm gonna do. In the game, it's to anybody who loves shooting games and shit like that, I would play this shit. I just wish it had like a fire ass online mode to where we can create our own Enzo. Who knows? Maybe we can get it popping with a custom fucking Isabella or some shit like that, and just get it popping. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. I wish there was more like Isabella gameplay. Like, it wasn't enough for me. You know what I'm saying? Just point A to point B type shit. Like, I really like wanted to like an honor system on some Red Dead shit. It was beautiful. Like, I think I died like maybe like a few times. I died to a lot of bullshit because I got caught off guard by a grenade and it fucked me up. You know what I'm saying? I might also release like a Mafia like kill compilation. It was already in like my share factory. These niggas took it out. These PlayStation niggas had took it out. I saved it and everything. I don't know what the fuck niggas got going on, but it is what it is. I'm gonna get right for y'all boys. I've also been trying to like try new shit and hey, you know, this Mafia review, this might be the first review I ever drop on this fucking channel. I ain't never getting monetized. I'm cussing and shit like that. Niggas was cussing up a storm. What else do I want to talk about? How many minutes do I have left of this shit? I got like what? I'm 31 minutes in. I got 60 minutes to. I got 30 minutes to go. Um, my thing is, I felt like at times Enzo was too in deep. Like, but he's already bodied a few niggas and shit like that. Niggas know who he is. Like, they seen his face. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, so Enzo was it was an honor to get to play as this man. You know what I'm saying? The Italian sensation, Italian Tom Holland, you know, Enzo Favara. And I think he died young. I think he lived to be 22. This nigga don't even get to, this nigga's not gonna get to see his kid grow up. And people are speculating that his kid is gonna be Joe or some shit like that, or it's just like, can it not be centered around niggas that are already in the game? Could it be centered around a new nigga that rises to power or a girl? You know what I'm saying? But I think it might be a boy or some shit like that. I'm not sure. And it was just so sad to see Isabella like that. But at the same time, I felt like this shit could have been prevented if y'all niggas would have just kept y'all head down a little longer. Like, you know. But then again, you know, the mob always finds you. They did that same shit to Tommy. That nigga Vito and fucking Joe popped up at that nigga door. He exploded that nigga's guts all over his lawn. Balls. Rest in peace, Tommy. Rest in peace, Enzo. It was just, it was a lot, man. This game was, I ain't gonna say very action packed, but I have fun with the combat though. It felt a little lackluster. It was giving special style, no Tekken. Um, I don't know, man. I just wanted to say shit. I just wanted to hop on this bitch real quick and just share my thoughts on this shit. Like, I enjoyed the game. I would definitely play this shit again if they were to reverse the decision. My boss was telling me, I was telling my boss about the game, like about how they was trying to abort Shorty's baby and shit like that. How them niggas was killing off Enzo and shit like that. And people were putting out like petitions to have an alternate, and he was like, nah, some people gotta, you know, die type shit. It's what makes it more realistic and shit like that. And I also told him I might play the game. He's like, cool, you probably could get a different perspective, you know. I was like, yeah, that's cool, and shit like that. I don't know. It's just sometimes it left me very puzzled and just very sad and very angry because you know when Isabella was crying, I was like, baby, I feel you, type shit, you know. But you know, your boy just wanted to hop on here and share your thoughts. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, and share. Y'all have a good one. Have a nice day.